What's up, you guys? My name is Zanier, and welcome to or back to my YouTube channel. If you are a reoccurring subscriber, thank you so much. And if you're not, that's okay. That's all right. But I hope that you stay because we have an amazing time on this channel. And as soon as you hit that subscribe button, your life automatically improves for the better. So I suggest you automatically improve your life and hit that subscribe button. Just saying. In today's video, I am going to be talking about everything granny square related, and there will be a tutorial on how to make a basic granny square at the end of the video. So if you're here for that, you can skip to this timestamp. Today I will be telling you everything that you need to know about granny squares, how to make a granny square, and what you can actually make with a granny square. Without further ado, let's get on into it. First, we're going to start with what is a granny square. According to Wikipedia, a granny square is a piece of square fabric produced in crochet by working in the round from the center outward. Granny squares peaked in fashion during the 70s, and now they are starting to make a comeback as crochet is getting more and more popular in 2025. The granny square's first publication was April 5th, 1885. As you can see, the granny square has been around for a very long time. So now we're going to talk about the different types of granny squares. There are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of granny square patterns that make different shape, and you can use pretty much any color schemes. Today I am just going to be talking about the basic granny square. Now we're going to talk about what you can make with granny squares. Pretty much anything that you can think of, you can make using a granny square. For example, we have hats, shorts, we have vests, cardigans, pants, and scarves. You can make bags, headbands. There are so many things that you can make with granny squares. The possibilities are endless. This cardigan that I am actually wearing was made using the granny square stitch, and on the back I created a flower granny square. As you can see, you can make a lot of different things with the granny square. It allows you to be very creative. Now that we've established what you can make with a granny square, what a granny square is, and the different types of granny squares, I am now going to show you guys how to make a basic granny square. So let's get into the tutorial. First, you're going to need some yarn. I am using 3 colors. However, you can use as little or as many colors of yarn that you want. For beginners, I recommend using at least 2. And my yarn is a weight 4 or worsted weight yarn. However, you can use whichever yarn you want to. Secondly, you're going to need a crochet hook. I am using a 5mm hook today. You can use whichever hook size you desire. Lastly, I would recommend having some scissors handy. To start this granny square, you are going to need to make a magic circle. To do this, you want to take the tail end of the yarn and put it in your palm. Then you are going to wrap the yarn around 2 of your fingers, making sure to go away from your body. After you have wrapped the yarn around fully once, you're going to want to make an X by crossing the yarn on top of the beginning tail. You should now have an X. Then you can insert your hook and grab the yarn that is closest to you and turn your hook up. You then can remove your finger and chain 2. This chain 2 is going to count as a stitch and is going to be the beginning of your first cluster. Now that you have your first 2 chains, you are now going to double crochet 2 into the magic circle. To double crochet, you're going to yarn over insert your hook into the middle of the magic circle, yarn over again, pull up a loop. So now you have 3 loops on your hook. Then you're going to yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops on your hook, and then yarn over one more time and pull through the last 2 loops. Then you have created your first double crochet. You're going to want to repeat that one more time to complete this cluster. So once again, yarn over, insert your hook into the middle of the magic circle, yarn over, pull up a loop. You should now have 3 loops on your hook. Then you're going to yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2. You should now have 2 double crochets and you're starting 2 chains. This is going to count as your first cluster, and you're now going to chain 2. For the next 3 clusters, you are now going to make sure to double crochet 3. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into the magic circle, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through the last 2, and repeat this 2 more times. I am then going to chain 2 and create 2 more clusters in the magic circle. For the 3rd cluster, I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into the magic circle, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. I'm going to repeat this 2 more times. And now we are going to chain 2 and crochet 3 more double crochets. So once again, I am yarning over, inserting my hook into the middle of the chain space, yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarning over, pulling through the first 2 loops, yarning over, pulling through the last 2 loops. And I'm going to finish this off with 2 more double crochets. Once you have reached the end of your row, you're going to chain 2 and slip stitch to the beginning chain 2, making sure to go into the 2nd chain. Before slip stitching, you can go ahead and pull on that tail that we left out at the beginning to close the middle of your magic circle. And then once you have slip stitched, you now have your first row of your granny square. You can now fasten off and grab your 2nd color. Now that you have your 2nd color, you are going to want to grab your row 1 that you just finished, and now we are going to attach the 2nd color to our granny square. To do this, you are going to want to insert your hook into any of the corners of your starting granny square, and then wrap your 2nd color around the hook, making sure to leave the tail a little long. You are then going to pull your hook through that corner space, and now the yarn should be wrapped around. And we are now going to yarn over, making sure that you are still holding on to that tail end piece, and create your first chain. You can now drop that tail and chain one more. This is going to be the beginning of your first cluster in this row, and this is also going to be how you're going to attach the colors for the third and fourth row. So now I'm going to go ahead and double crochet 2 into that starting corner space. So once again, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into that corner space and pull up a loop. Then you should have 3 on your hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops on your crochet hook, and then yarn over, pull through the last 2. And then I'm going to make another double crochet. After you have made your final double crochet, you're going to chain 2. And I am now going to make 3 more double crochets in that same corner space where we have started the row. So I am yarning over, inserting my hook into that same corner space where we started, pulling through, yarning over, going through the first 2 loops, and then yarning over and pulling through the last 2. And I'm now going to double crochet 2 more times in that starting corner space. So as you can see in this corner space, we have a total of 2 clusters. And so this is how you're going to create your corner parts of your granny square. The next step is to go into the second corner space, and you're going to begin double crocheting 3 into that corner space. You are going to yarn over, insert your hook into the corner space, yarn over and pull up a loop, then yarn over, pull through the first 2 chains on your hook, and yarn over, pull through the last 2. You are then going to repeat the same thing that you did in the corner before. So double crochet 2 more into that corner space, chain 2, and then double crochet another 3 into that corner space to create your second corner. I now have my second corner complete, and so now you're going to follow that pattern of double crocheting 3 in the next corner, chaining 2, and then double crocheting 3 more in that same corner 2 more times till you get to the end of your row. Once you've made it to the end, you're going to go ahead and slip stitch into the beginning chain 2, making sure to go through that second chain 2. And then you can fasten off, and you have now completed row 2. You are now going to want to grab your next color. Mine is going to be this green, and we're going to follow that same process of attaching the yarn to the corner space. So once again, I am inserting my hook into any one of the corner spaces, and then I am wrapping the other yarn around the hook, making sure to leave a little bit of a tail. Then I'm pulling through, once again, yarning over, making sure that I have both the tail end and the working yarn, wrapping it around and chaining 1. And then I am going to drop the tail and chain 1 more. Once again, this is how you're going to start every single row, with a chain 2, and then we are going to double crochet 2 more stitches into this starting corner space. I am then going to chain 2 and double crochet 3 more double crochets into this starting corner. Once you have finished doing your 3 double crochets, you should have a corner cluster. So now we are going to go into the very next space, and in this space you are only going to double crochet 3. You should now have your starting corner clusters and then the 3 double crochet clusters in the middle. And now we're going to go into the next corner. I'm immediately going to the second corner and double crocheting 3. I'm going to chain 2 and double crochet 3 more into that same corner space. And after I have finished double crocheting my last 3 in that corner space, I am then going to go over to that middle space and double crochet 3 more. This is going to be the pattern that you follow to finish the rest of this row. So in the next 2 corner spaces, you're going to double crochet 3, chain 2, double crochet 3 in that same corner space. Go to that middle gap, double crochet 3, and then you should finish in the last middle gap by double crocheting 3. Then slip stitch to that beginning chain 2, making sure to go into that second chain. Once you have slip stitched the square together, you can now fasten off your yarn. We are now going to work on the 4th row of this granny square. So I am grabbing my pink and attaching it to any corner as we've done with the 2 previous rows. So I am taking my hook and inserting it through that corner. Then I am taking the pink yarn and wrapping it around my crochet hook and pulling through. Then making sure that I am holding onto the tail and working end, yarning over, creating my first chain, and then chaining 1 more. I am then going to double crochet 2 in that starting corner, chain 2, and then double crochet 3 more into that same starting corner. Once you have finished, you will notice that there are now 2 gaps that we will have to double crochet into. So I'm going into that first gap and double crocheting 3 times, then going into that very next gap and double crocheting 3 more. And after that, you can now go into that second corner, start with a double crochet of 3, chain 2, double crochet 3 more, and you should end up back at another gap. And so we're going to follow that same pattern. When you get to the end of this row, you should once again end up in the final gap. You're going to double crochet 3 into that last gap, and then slip stitch to your beginning chain 2, making sure to go into the second chain and fasten off. You have now created your 4th row of your granny square. You can either stop here or continue to make your granny square bigger. I am going to add a 5th row off camera. However, you're just going to follow that same process of starting your double crochet cluster and then double crocheting 3 in the gaps. I will come back when the granny square is completely finished. This is what my finished granny square looks like with that 5th row. You do not have to add a 5th row. It just really depends on the size that you want for your project. That is how you crochet a basic granny square. If you guys have any questions about what I was doing in the video, please feel free to ask them down below. I respond pretty quickly to my YouTube comments. I will link a video down below showing you how to weave in all the ends on the back of your project. The next step would be to weave in your ends in the back, and that just helps your project look a lot more clean. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys want to stay in contact with me outside of YouTube, please feel free to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and also check out my Etsy, where I sell the different crochet things that I make. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and comment. I feel like if you've already made it this far, you should do those things because clearly you like the video. So just saying, automatically improve your life. Until my next video, bye y'all.